All right. Well, welcome everybody to the show. This is whatever comes to mind. I'm guessing I'm introducing everybody. Am I introducing everybody? Ken, we still haven't come up with the thing for you, though. We need a nickname for you.
Use your mind. I
What
mean,
do you
I'm not
think?
that mysterious.
No, this requires your input.
My input. Oh, God.
Yeah, because if we're
I'm
you're gonna be happy with it.
I'm changing my name from K Silly Double D to just to K-Tins because K Silly Double D no longer applies to me because I no longer have double D breasts. So I can't.
You can
do whatever you want.
You can be that in
You
memoriam.
can do whatever you want.
That's right. You can be that in memoriam.
I mean, and why does it have to be breasts? Double D could be batteries. So who knows, right? Like,
you know what? I don't even want to talk about double D batteries. So y'all just
y'all get on. There is not a dildo out there that uses double D batteries. I will definitely attest to that. As far as I know, as far as I think, I'm pretty sure that there's not.
So K-Tins.
Yes.
K-Tins. That's cool.
Yeah, because that's my comedy is Kate is right, isn't it? Oh, it's Chris Nicole Tins comedy. That's what it is. It doesn't matter. It's like Kate Tins. I just like it.
Okay.
So,
K-Tin T-I-N.
Yeah.
T-I-N-Z. Yeah, but it's fine. K Silly Double D works just fine.
Which one? Like you want to be both, or it's up to you.
I don't know. I'll change my. I'll probably end up changing it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. My name's Kristen. Welcome to Whatever Comes to Mind.
Woo! There you go.
And I'm Black and Rowdy. Thank you for coming. Love all of you.
Black and Rowdy.
And of course, Ken. Like we can't forget about Ken, but folks, we got to think of a nickname for him. He can't just be Ken, right? I mean, you can. What about Kenny?
No,
I like Ken. I like just Ken.
Just Ken?
Yeah.
I could be just Ken.
Mr. Ken.
Mr. Ken.
No,
come on. I like that. Mr.
I become old.
No, how old are you? 35?
Oh, thank you. I'll take it.
We're not aging anymore. We are done. That's it. It's over.
Add 12 to that, and that's next Wednesday.
Oh. Next Wednesday.
Yes, next Wednesday.
So can we get trashed? Oh,
you're dude, that's our show. We got to do something for his birthday. What are we gonna do?
Oh Lord.
Oh yeah, he said, "Oh Lord" is right. I don't know. Maybe we should do a drinking game. Okay. Can we get trashed on a Wednesday night? Okay, here's what we'll do because
I've heard more crazy.
Okay, here's what we'll do. I have this cool game here. Look at you. I just want to point out. Look at his face. I have this cool game here, this 80s and 90s trivia, and we are all old enough to know the answers to this. So every single time one of us gets the answer wrong, we're taking a shot. So make sure you have bottle of whatever you want to drink, shot
Fireball.
glass, and we're gonna get,
Fireball.
Fireball. I was like, oh my God.
We love Fireball.
We will be taking shots next week. If anyone wants to join us live, we will definitely be doing that.
That will be fun. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. So
very interesting. The more shots we take, the more we're gonna miss.
I have to write it down, otherwise I'm gonna forget. I'm an old person.
I won't forget. Trust me, because I will definitely be planning for that. I will be. Oh my God! You know how trashed you might get. Shit.
Yeah, I was.
It'll make for an amazing show.
What's gonna come out of our mouths? You never know.
Yeah, that's for sure. Literally, whatever comes to mind. No filter. No filter. Because once you get here, you can attest to this. We can all attest to this. When you're in your 30s, you give less. You just do. You're getting older. Yeah. You don't care, right? Exactly. Like that's just what happens.
It's like don't say it, don't criticize.
It's like whatever's gonna be said is whatever's gonna be said, and that's it. And most of the time, it's the truth, Like I was listening to the governor today, and I'm just like sitting there, and I'm thinking like the mayor today, and I'm like, I don't think he has any fucking idea what he's talking about. I think what was the name of that movie where that guy became like a guru or something, and everybody like kept coming to his house, and like they would ask him questions, and he would just blurt out the
Mother.
answer.
Are you talking about Mother?
I don't know,
It
but
was so crazy.
he had like long brown hair and like all this other stuff. I don't know, but
yeah,
it's
he
just,
had
like,
long.
learning
He
everything
had
else.
long hair, and
Yeah,
he was married.
yeah, I think so. And like people were like all coming to his house. And
That's
like,
Mother. That
right, I
movie
was
is
just
so
like,
crazy.
Oh, I've never
Don't
seen
say
it.
anything, because if you have not seen this, you have not seen Mother. You've got to see Mother. It's one of those movies that will. It has its own genre. Literally, it's something
Yeah.
you've never
Really?
seen before. It's just out there.
Hmm.
It's great. I love it.
I'm gonna have to
so
find
he's
that
saying
one.
that he's, because now one of the reporters asked him, how are you going to ensure the safety of children going back to school in the fall?
Good question.
And he was just kind of like, well, we're just going to open things up. And it's like, is that really realistic to say, okay, we're just going to open things up? I basically just want to see, I think it's getting to the point where people need to realize that when they start to open things up, we're basically going to be like lab rats. Well, let's see what
Right.
opens, how many people were in the place. Like, we're going to be like living statistics, basically, and like living test subjects to see, all right, well, if we open up the mall and we have, I don't know, let's see, 10,000 people in there and 5,000 people came down with COVID virus. Okay, now we know we can't have 10,000 people in the same room.
I mean,
But
is it even worth it? Is it even worth the risk? Like, honestly,
At that
to
point,
go
I
get a
think
pair of
it is.
jeans from the store. Like,
Right.
really? Is it really worth that? I don't know. I just don't think. People need a second thought on that one. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. Me personally, there's nothing so important for me that I can't get online, that I can't get.
Mhm.
I don't need to go to the mall. I don't need to do certain things. I mean, I miss going to my open mics at the bar. I miss going to comedy shows. I miss going to the movies. But that's like the extent of my life. I don't really
Mhm.
go anywhere else. Everything is just kind of, just home. I miss the club. I miss going out to the club. I mean, that sucks. I mean, like getting trashed and dancing around the dance floor, like that's over.
You know what's so weird though is that I don't honestly miss any of that, and that's what's so strange because I used to go out all the time, but now that I've been home so much, I really don't miss it. And I'm just kind of like,
I mean,
am I really gonna go?
Yeah, I mean, I miss it, but it's not something that I'm like jumping up and down to go like to the club, and I don't know, I'm not jumping up and down about it, but it'd be nice when it opens back up again. But like me and Kristen, I mean, Kristen, I don't know when the last time it was when we went together to like out. It's been a while, right?
Yes. I think I don't remember when the last time. I think you had just started dating Alex.
Was that when I went to Long Island for that Halloween party?
Halloween party.
It was a Halloween party. I had that brown wig with the bangs. There was a shot. It was very clever. It was like an ice sculpture shot glass that people were like drinking out of, which was gross. And it'd been like,
no.
All of us would have got COVID at that point.
That was pre-weight loss surgery. That was the I Love Kickboxing.
Yeah. That one. That was
surgery.
literally the last thing.
No, it wasn't. We went to what the hell was the name of that club you took me to when you first started dating Alex?
Oh,
Giant Games.
Yeah. What's the name of that club that you hate?
There's two
What's
of
the name
them.
of that club you hate? What's the name of it?
There's Slate.
Slate.
Yeah, we went there. I like that club. Remember that? Like, oh, you gotta check your jacket at the door. Like, honey, I ain't checking nothing.
They're out of control. I mean, and honestly, the last few times that me and him or another friend of mine went, it was just bogus because you had to wait like an hour before they even opened the club because they had a private event going on. I'm like, come on,
and
dude.
then all the people pulling up with their I mean, me and Alex literally stood outside. I don't remember if it was cold. I think it was cold out. I think me and Alex literally stood outside for like 45 minutes to an hour.
It was a long time.
It was a long time.
It was a long time.
They literally cut us off as you're going. And I'm like,
really? And we were a group.
Go in.
And I kept telling them we're a group. Oh, well, well, I mean, and I went outside because I'm
that
like,
happened to us when we went out too.
Yeah. When was that, Ken?
That was
That's a hot minute ago too.
that the December trip? No.
Every time you've come, we just gone to a
You
bar.
weren't
We've never gone
there.
to the
You were
club.
with us. No, he was with us. That's
I was
No,
gonna
he
say
wasn't.
that.
He wasn't.
us.
No, he wasn't.
He
He
came to
wouldn't have
Slate with
went.
us.
I'm telling you, I know Ken. He wouldn't have went to that one. There was something else we went to.
Well, no, I went with y'all to Slate.
Yes, he
think
did.
so.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes,
did.
he
Isn't that
That's
isn't
first
that the
time I
true
met him.
story where we played Jenga?
We were in the hotel.
I
We
don't
were in the
think
hotel,
so.
and then we got
Because
we
there were
got the
two
food.
places we went, and there was one that has. No, I don't think so.
What's the
Sorry,
place
Ken.
with the
I
games
know you-
downstairs?
I don't
That's-
remember that. I literally don't remember, guys. I don't.
You have
I
a
don't
horrible
remember
memory.
that.
You have a
What's the
horrible
name of
memory.
What's the name of the place that has the games downstairs?
That's Slate.
Okay, I've
There's
been there.
two places that have games downstairs. That's why I'm like not sure if you went.
There's one, no, because there's one that's the Slate is the one with the Jenga.
If
The
we
other
were a
one-
group, who
the
were you in
ping
there
pong.
with?
The other one is
I
the
was
ping
with
pong club.
Alex.
We went to
You were
both.
with Ken.
I literally don't remember Ken being there.
Oh my
I-
goodness.
Then who
I
were you
don't.
inside with?
Oh, a friend of mine. It wasn't anybody from like, yeah, it was somebody
No.
I just met, I think.
I went
Right?
to the city. No, I went to the city. We were hanging out in the hotel room.
Veronica. Did Veronica go with us?
No, I have
No.
never met.
Oh
No,
my God.
I never.
I don't know what's going
No,
on in my
you're-
brain. I'm so sorry. I believe you. I believe you. I don't know. So sorry.
No, that was the
I've never
March
met-
trip.
I only met with Veronica once, and that was at Lucy's house. That was it.
That was the March trip.
It's not coming to my brain, but I believe you. Cool.
Yeah, we went.
All right.
we went in
So
March.
you went to Slate that Alex hates. He
I don't like it either.
doesn't even like it. But
I liked
Kristen,
the
you liked
dancing and
it.
the music,
Kristen
that was
liked it.
fun. I like the dancing and the music, but playing the games, I was like, all right, cool. Like Jenga. I thought Jenga was cool, but I just feel like that place is very pretentious. Like they try.
Oh
like,
yeah,
like it's
Oh.
like a
Big
class
time.
place.
Yeah, I remember that.
big
one.
time.
It's really not.
Yeah.
It's so not.
I mean, it's
Yeah, I
fun.
I
I
seem
think
to
it's about the
remember-
crowd, honestly.
I think I
it's the
seem to
crowd.
remember the shots were really expensive.
Oh, they were
Very
out of control.
expensive, but you
Yeah.
paid for a lot of
Yes.
those shots, so thank you. Thank you, Big
Yeah, it
Daddy.
was something like $13 a shot or something.
Yeah, it's
But-
crazy.
We were
It's-
trashed that night. We were definitely trashed that night. So
Oh yeah.
I must have been because I sure as hell don't remember.
you were. You were.
I don't remember. Anyways,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
why do we?
that-
How do we get on this topic anyway? Like, what are we talking about?
She was talking about just she went there.
Okay.
We were talking about missing going out to clubs
Oh yeah.
and like
Yeah.
where we
Gotcha.
would go.
Yeah.
But I mean, we don't really live in the same type of world where we grew up in the 90s, where every single weekend, you went out to a club or you did something. I would imagine like even I don't even know like what young people even do. Like do they go to? I mean, I'm sure they go to bars. They
They go to
must.
bars, but they're on
I
their
don't know.
phones. Every time I'm
Right.
going to a bar, I see a group of people, young people,
On
and
their
they're on
phone.
their phones.
On their phone.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
they're not
So
really
what's the
spiking. They're
difference?
not really talking.
Mhm.
Right. So what's the difference between if you're home and you're talking to your friends on your phone, or you're hanging out with people and they're just looking at their phone? So I don't
Right.
know. I don't like
It's just
that.
an insecurity thing. It's like you're out and about. You're not sure what people are thinking about you. You're trying to look cool. That's just what I chalk it up to. Just, trying to be cool. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. I think you're probably very right on that.
I miss the movie theater. I miss going to the movies. I miss the excitement of going to the movies.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
probably the one thing that
And it makes me
I
sad.
miss the most.
Mhm.
It makes
is
me
just being
sad.
able to go.
Yeah, but it makes me sad that the movies lately have not been good enough. Like it's been years since I went to a
Uh-huh.
movie and I was like, wow, this movie is like bomb. It has been a while. It really has.
Yeah, there's been the movies out lately have not hit the spot.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'd rather
Yeah,
wait.
but I don't think it's even worth it.
I mean, in New York, it's like $15 for a ticket. So you're really picky
Mhm.
about
You're
what
really
movie
paying,
you're gonna
yeah, you're
see.
paying a lot of money.
You're paying a lot
I
of
like
money.
to go see like a lot of like the X-Men movies. I like to go watch on the big screen,
Yeah.
like big action
Me too.
type
Right.
movies. I'll go watch on the big screen. But anything else, like as far as like I saw The Invisible Man. I paid $20 to watch it. I thought it was decent, but I mean obviously very flawed. But it was okay. But what I would have been a little disappointed. I mean, I paid more than I would have paid if I went to the movies.
Yeah.
So, and then it's like, okay, you have to, and then I've noticed that now there's something like I watched The Boy too. Did you guys see The Boy too?
I mean, girl, anything with two, like a second movie is to me is just gonna suck. And the first movie,
buy that movie.
The first movie,
I had to buy it.
What?
I couldn't rent it. I had to buy it. And I'm like, why do I have to buy this movie?
Interesting.
Why is Katie, I'm thinking to myself, like, why is Katie Holmes in this movie? Why is Katie Holmes still acting?
Katie Holmes?
Katie Holmes plays the mother. It was probably the worst acting I've ever
Oh my gosh. That alone, I would have been like, heck no. And on top of that, if they don't even have the Lauren, what's her name? Lauren from The Walking Dead. She was in the first movie, The Boy. Now, if they would have had her in the second movie, I'd be okay. That makes sense. Okay, I probably wouldn't mind seeing on Netflix.
It doesn't follow the same storyline.
See,
it doesn't follow the same storyline.
The first one, the storyline was cool. It was different. Now that
it was, and then it goes, and then of course, following traditional American cinema,
second movies.
Of course, there's like a spirit or something like that that's attached to the doll, and it's not a whole long history of the doll's been around for a long time. And I'm like,
absolutely not.
Oh yeah, and following with
absolutely not. Nope.
Absolutely awful. I hate when movies go that way. It's like, stop doing that. Stop being so freaking lazy. Stop. You know what I mean? It just wasn't.
Put some thought into the writing. Like me and Alex were just talking about a show called Motherland Fort Salem. Now, the actual theme is actually real cool about witches, basically a militarized witch unit that helps the U.S. government. Now, that's kind of a cool thought, right? But the acting was
channel is that on?
Hulu.
Fuck, I don't have Hulu.
Let me give you the login to Hulu, girl. You need to watch something on Hulu.
Because I actually like that. Because I'm actually working. I'm working on a TV pilot about witches, but in a different way, where I have some pretty cool characters, pretty cool storyline, pretty basic, whatever. But I was dreaming about it as I was waking up the other day, and I was like, oh, okay, I really like the story, because I had these witches of these certain special characters that were a part of the story, and then I was like, all right, I kind of want to do something with warlocks, because nobody really does, you know.
And well, watch it. And tell me what you think, because I think it might help your writing a little bit.
Well, witches actually do help the government. I mean, that's just shit real. There are psychic
mediums. It's so cool.
Help. Yeah,
I find it fascinating. I was like, wow, this is cool. Yeah. But then the acting wasn't good and the writing was terrible. That's the only thing, you know.
Yeah. No, I know. Well, that's what ruins it. And it's like, all right,
man, and it's such a great idea.
You could have a really good concept, and then it gets ruined by shitty writing. And you know, if you don't know how to escalate it, you know, to be a story, you know, I mean, I mean, sometimes you have a really good idea, but you have to be able to take that idea and make it span across an entire series. If you can't do that, then you don't have anything.
Exactly, but you also need to take time. That's what people don't realize. When you write, you don't just write to hurry up and make up a story. You write for the purpose of developing characters, for developing a great story, and that takes years. Like, honestly, a good story takes years. What do you think?
No.
I think it takes years to really nail down like every character, go back over it again. I mean, I just feel like every writer is different. Let's put it like that. For me, it takes years. Like, I need it to be perfect.
I don't. Every writer is different. But when I think in terms of writing, I already have the story beginning, middle, and the end in my head. So it's already there. I don't think, and then I was like, all right, well, and then the biggest challenge is actually sitting down and doing
execution.
In the execution,
exactly.
Writing it, as opposed to, okay, well, now I need to sit down and write the story. So that kind of holds you back. Time is also an issue, but when you're developing characters, it doesn't have to take years, because let me tell you something. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got from a writing coach, Marilyn Horowitz, as big as a bitch she was.
Oh.
She was.
I wasn't expecting that.
Not to me, but to other people. But she wrote a book. It's called "Don't Get It Right, Get It Written," And that was
really?
that was one of the greatest pieces of advice that I ever heard, because she said, if you're wasting so much time trying to get it right, you're not going to get it written, and that's what's going to slow you down. So she, and she was a writing coach for a lot of major movies that were put out there. But her book, Don't Get It Right, Get Written, was actually really good. She is a script consultant. I don't know if I haven't spoken to her in a very long time, but she was, when I was interning at New York Women in Film and Television, she was definitely a big part of like somebody where I was just like, I need to get to know you.
Yeah.
And let's talk to me about how you do all that. But she was a script consultant for a film. I don't remember the name of it. I think she may have produced like some films, nothing major. But that whole philosophy of don't get it right, get written works, because if you can at least, the way you have an idea, you're executing that idea on a piece of paper, you're doing it right in the right format. And when you look at a script, okay, you write a script a certain way, okay? You packaging it perfect to get past somebody like me who's going to read it and they're going to be like, okay, this hits all the bells and whistles, because I'm looking at it, are you capable of writing? Let me tell you a secret about that, all right? Nobody cares about the format. Nobody cares about the size staple you use. Nobody cares about your grammar or your spelling.
That's all we were told.
They're reading.
All we were told.
Exactly. They're reading the story and the idea. I can tell from the first 5 pages as to whether or not this is going to be a good story that somebody's going to want to buy. I'm only reading beyond 5 pages as a courtesy as to just to see if there's something. I can tell from the first 5 pages of a writer's work, is this writing going to be workable? Because that's where your main juice needs to be. If you watch the way movies are made today, they take off right away.
Yeah.
They go right into it. They do not take time to develop it. So why are you still writing scripts that way? You don't take the time. A lot of people struggle with the beginning of a script. How do I start this story? Oh, and my advice to you now is, as I've been watching all these things, my advice to anyone, is to start on an action.
Yeah.
Start on an action. Start the chase through the cornfield. Start with the shooting. Start with the stabbing. Start with that and build your story around that, because then you get to know a lot of the characters. You don't want to go with the once upon a time theme that I see, where a lot of it's once upon a time there was a character who did this, 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 and this, and then this happened to them, and then this happened. No, start in an action. Your story is about creepy clowns. Show the creepy clown crawling out from underneath your bed and attacking your central character, and then build the story up from there. Because that's what people want to see. You got to hook them right away. Because we have a different audience right now. Literally, people will read the synopsis of a story, and if I turn on the movie and it looks cheesy or stupid, I shut it off right away. But you hook me if you start me on the action. You introduce me to the monster right away, or you introduce me, and I love now that we actually have different stories out there where the characters are bad, where the central character is actually the villain. I like that type of story, because that's what makes the story very interesting. Because not everybody thinks along the lines, the perspective of good. A lot of people think along the lines of perspective of bad. A lot of people walk around with a lot of negative thoughts in their head. Nobody really walks around, with a lot of positivity. It's very hard to do that. So when you have a character that's very relatable, what was the character? Joker. A lot of people related to him. And when I watched that movie, I had to be very honest with myself and say, yeah, you know what? Fucking A. I agree 100%. I don't agree with the things he did, but I understood why he did what he did.
Yeah,
So
I think that's what it is. The stories do that. It's not about liking the villain. It's actually about just coming to an understanding where you have sympathy or empathy for the villain. Right. And I like that, not necessarily to like them, right? But getting understand why they do what they do. You're starting to get a broader picture of why people, even in our own society, do what they do, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's a good point, because when you actually watch when there's a school shooting or when there's something very horrific that happens, people want to know everything about the person who did it. And then afterwards, it comes out about the victims of the people who did that. And I find that to be very interesting because we literally have channels that are dedicated, like the ID Discovery Channel. We have these channels that are dedicated to the sickness and the darkness of the mind that takes place of, how these murders are carried out and what these people are doing. And we're fascinated by this.
Yeah.
So I find it very funny that now we're taking it in the direction where we're highlighting these villainous characters.
Yeah.
And we're making it about, and Lifetime is probably one of like the most guilty channels because look at how many movies they made. Do we really need a movie about the guy that killed his wife and
all, yep, it's all based on truth. It's all based on an actual thing that happened. So yeah, it is addicting. I think the thing is, like, you got to be careful with that stuff, and I think Kristen can attest to this. You got to be careful about what you're watching because I think, I don't know if you told me this, Kristen, or somebody else told me this, like,
I don't know.
The evils, like, they just come into your house because you're over here watching some crazy stuff. Right. And it scared me when they said that because I'm like, oh my God, I need to watch what I'm watching because, you never know what door you're opening, right? I mean, that's just, for those who
we were talking about that with Sabrina, the teenage witch, like thinking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah. But that was more for like the character herself was spitting out some type of spells. I'm talking more on the lines of like watching evil, like people that, like, for instance, I'll give you a scenario. I spent like the whole day one day watching what's that show on ID with the women, dangerous women, evil women?
Oh yeah.
I don't remember, but I spent the whole day watching it. By the end, I felt so much darkness and so much crazy. Like I was like, I need to like bless the house because it was like there was so much evil coming out of that TV. I need to be careful about that. So I like completely started watching Disney and like try to get some positivity in the house because I was like, this is like these women were like not crazy, but they were very I don't even want to say evil, right? Because they did things because they thought it would benefit them in the long run. And I don't want to say they're evil. I don't want to say people are evil unless I don't know. I feel weird about saying somebody's evil. I don't know. What do you guys just maybe I'm wrong for that. Maybe I'm wrong for that, but I don't like saying that.
I feel like there's two sides to every story. Like I know that the series that you're talking about, and I really kind of feel like there's two sides to every story.
Yeah.
And they're showing us, oh, this woman was, lustful and she's going after this guy and then she gets this guy to kill this other guy.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, all right, well, what happened in between that? That's what they don't tell you.
That's what they don't tell you.
They don't tell you all the shit that happened in between that led up to it.
Yeah.
And it's always some sort of an excuse or something like that. But yeah, but when you watch stuff like that, it creeps into your brain and it makes suggestions as to how you should handle, certain situations. And I personally, I kind of don't really like watching stuff like that because then it's like, all right, that's in my head. So if a situation were to ever happen, am I going to pick up a knife and stab my husband? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that ever going to happen? I mean, is that like the first thing that I would think to do? No, but I also think that maybe sometimes watching stuff like that kind of teaches you like what not to do because this is what's going to happen if you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Stuff like that happens all the time. Somebody stabs. I mean, I watched the true life story of like women behind bars on, I think it's Netflix. And I was like, wow, like literally within 2 seconds, your whole life just gets turned around. You're in jail for the rest of your life. You're on death row. You've killed this person. You can't take it back. And it was all in a moment of like rage
emotional
driven.
Literally.
And it doesn't get you off the hook.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I know this is terrible to say, but I kind of feel like some people need to be forgiven for that because if you can understand the emotions behind, a passionate thing. If somebody really loves somebody and you walk in and you see them doing something that they shouldn't be doing and your reaction is to kill them, it doesn't make you a killer. It doesn't make you somebody that's going to go out and do it again. She didn't plan it. It wasn't premeditated. It was manslaughter. You know, thank God we have
second
manslaughter.
degree or second degree. We don't know, right? It all depends on the lawyers, right? It all depends on what kind of lawyer you have. They could play it up to a second degree. They could play it up to a first degree. Like, you know,
if you plan it, that's what makes murder in the first degree. If you plan somebody's death, that's
it
what
really
makes
doesn't even have to be a forethought is only a part of it. It's the malice is the big part of it. Did you have a reason or a motivation?
Right. Were you lying in wait? You know,
lying in wait is still a forethought. Malice is the anger. Malice is the emotion.
The bank accounts that were set up to make sure that when you die, like that's forethought, right? Like you already knew this person was going to die. So that money you had already set aside to do this and this and that, that's first degree because you had already premeditated what was going to happen.
You knew what was going to happen. Yeah. I just could never think like you have your husband and you're in love and you get married and then you end up killing, like, how do you live with yourself? I could never, how do you live with yourself knowing that happens? How do you live with yourself knowing that you put someone?
But we also, we have a different mode of thought. We have a different character level. We have a different set of values and morals. Values and morals. So, but we have, these people don't have it. They're missing that component. And so they don't see it that way. And they don't consider those.
Yeah.
But Jeffrey Dahmer didn't consider it.
Jeffrey Dahmer
was the crazy fucking.
Like, there was something wrong. Like, that's as close as the evil as I can say. I mean, I won't say he's evil, but I would say that's pretty close. Like,
no, he was evil.
There was something wrong.
But
like,
you know,
there was like a demon or something in him. Like,
but all of those serial killers, John Wayne Gacy, the stalking stranger, the hillside killer.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
Right, like, but they were very cunning. They were very intelligent. Because that's how they wrapped you in their story. They knew how to get you involved, and they knew how to manipulate the situation.
There was one called the Riverside Killer or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember. The one he
Green
killed
River
50 women. 50.
Yeah.
And they
Green
don't
River,
even have a count. That's just an estimate.
That you know
That's how
of,
many
right.
women he's killed. But get this, he was married and happily married.
Yes.
That's what blows my mind. His wife had no clue.
So was BTK, the BTK killer or whatever.
Yeah.
He was married and his wife was like, "Oh, I didn't know anything." And I'm like, "You fucking knew, bitch. Like,
How
don't go
know?
there. How do you not know? How do you not know? Sorry, I feel like you would have to know. You would have to know something.
Yeah,
but
I don't know, because these people, they go out, commit their murders, they come home, everything's. I mean, there's some people who've done it on the way to work.
Right. What I find funny is that Jack the Ripper, because this is what I believe that Jack the Ripper was a woman. I believe that a lot of the serial killers that are out there were actually women, because you're not going to catch a woman. I'm telling you. There are like, I know that Eileen Weremos was considered to be like the first, God rest her soul, because I believe she was convicted very unfairly. I feel like that woman definitely was mistreated and was definitely misrepresented, and they just wanted to make an example out of her, but we won't go there.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be the first female serial killer. There's been plenty of other female serial killers.
Oh yeah, big
time.
time.
Like,
big time.
Right.
There were women that killed poison
Yep.
men for like look at, just go to the ID channel. You're gonna find a slew of women.
Right.
It's amazing, and they don't get a lot of publicity. They don't get a lot of light, right?
Because they don't get caught. That's the thing. They don't get caught.
They don't get
and if
caught.
you can come up with, I think there was one movie about a female serial killer on Netflix that this cop was trying to find. And I mean, that's another way of introducing a different type of character, because you have this person that's very seemingly normal. A person that lives a life day-to-day basis. Maybe she's a mom, or maybe she's whatever, or she's she's somebody's daughter. She's doing all these things,
and yet she's brutally killing people. You know, that makes a very interesting, you know, topic and story. But what makes it not so interesting is when it follows along the same line of, you know, this person had a screwed up childhood, this person had whatever type of stuff. Can it just be like, I think that movie You, that show You, I think he kills for pleasure. You know, which also makes for another very interesting character is when you have somebody who murders for pleasure, not necessarily because of a reaction to emotions or doing it because of something, where they just do it because they like it.
Well, that's the nature of the serial killer, though. They have pleasure in what they're doing. Some of them do it for sexual gratification, some of them do it for the control, some of them do it, but it's all about power.
Yeah.
It's all about manipulation and power and taking control away from that person.
Yeah.
I could never. Yeah, I could never.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
I could never do that.
Oh.
Never. I could never even imagine. And if anyone ever did that to anybody that I cared about and loved, that would turn on the animal instinct to hunt you down and fucking end you. Like,
yeah.
There would be no way. I mean, there would be no way that, like, if anything ever happened to my sister or my brothers, if anyone ever did anything like that, or like one of my really close friends, you better damn well believe I'm taking you out. You're not going to jail or nothing like that.
I would do my own investigation. I wouldn't rely on the police.
No.
Because, I mean, it'll be 20 years later. Oh, we found the killer. Well, we're all half dead.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, thanks a lot, but no thanks. Like,
well,
how can we get them now?
They never solved the killer that was out on in Long Beach. They never solved that of those.
And that's a shame.
Not there.
And then with DNA being the number one thing that cops use, that's a darn shame. How are they not catching these people with DNA? But you know what it is? The killer is not registered. That's their first kill. If it's their first kill,
interesting.
There's no DNA to match it to. So now it's
like, well, interesting about that is look what's going on now. Now we have a massive virus that's causing everyone to have to give their DNA. We also have 23andMe.
Yes.
We also have all these things. So guess what? You may have somebody's, you may have it on file, and you have somebody's DNA on file, but that doesn't mean that you're actually going to be able to catch them. But now you will, because if everybody's going to be forced to submit, you know, their DNA, or maybe somebody, you know, it's okay for me to do that. You know, 23andMe or whatever you want to find out what nationality you are, they've been collecting people's DNA. They could do whatever they want. You are
the problem with that is they don't have a database. That's the problem. Like offenders, they have a database that you throw your butt in there. But when it comes to regular folks, there's no set database that's like, okay, well, I have a DNA sample. Let me match it to all the other, there's nothing that, I know of. There's nothing that's been made to get all of us.
Right, that we know of. Well, they have ancestral DNA also.
Yeah.
Where say me and you are sisters, and I commit a crime, and I leave behind my DNA.
Yeah.
And I'm out of the system, and let's say you do something, and your DNA is on the system. They can match your DNA to you.
Yeah.
And say, okay, well, it must be a relative of yours.
Of yours, yeah. That's how they would do it. But
because I really feel like
database that's like, oh, let's see if Ken was there at the club. You know what I mean? Like, there's, unless Ken is unless Ken has been in jail or has been arrested, there's no way for us to match it. Like, you know what I mean? And unless
I kind of feel like this is the start of deciding as to who's going to be able to have children and who's not. Based on our DNA, what type of diseases we have, what type of genetic defects we might have in our system.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, you know, look at all the autistic children and handicapped children are being born at a very rapid pace within the past, you know, couple decades, that this has been happening in clusters, that this has been happening. There's certain diseases that are happening, certain mental issues that are happening. These children are being viewed as burdens to the education system, burdens to the parents, burdens to a lot of people. Where are these children going? If you have a child that's autistic when they're in their 20s and they still have the mindset of a 2-year-old, what happens to them after the parents pass away? Who's taking care of them?
If the family has set up something already in place, some families
There's not
already
anything
have
set
stuff
up though. That's the
set in
problem.
place.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
like, oh, a family member is going to take care of them, or this person's
what if
going
you
to
don't
take
have
care
that?
of them.
What
If
if
you
you don't have
then they don't. Like, this just
right. But then that child becomes a burden of the state, a ward of the state. So where are these children going? Who's going to take care of them? That's part of the problem. And there's a book out there that's called Better for All the Worlds. My professor, when I was in Hunter, wrote that book.
Oh, wow.
Better for All the Worlds, and it was about selective sterilization. And when I read that book, I thought it was 100% crazy.
No, I absolutely agree. I don't think everybody should be having kids.
Is happening now.
Well, and
I don't think everybody should have kids. I'm sorry. I don't.
I agree.
I think there should be a select few. Like, not everybody's meant to be a mother or a father. That's the bottom line.
Well, not just that, but I think all these women in, race, not even considered, all of these women who are having, 14, 15, 6, 8, how many ever kids, to get more welfare money, more food stamp money, there should be a limit. It's just like with all this stimulus packaging, is, you get the child payment for the first 3 children and that's it. Well, if you've got 6 kids and you're on welfare, well, I'm sorry, you get your payment for 3 of them, and the other 3, you got to figure it out. But there should be a point where the state jumps in and says,
yeah.
I thought that they did that.
I agree.
I thought that they did that, where like the first 3 or 4 children were covered and then the rest were not. So,
and they might indeed do that. I really don't know, but I'm thinking we have to go even further than that. We got to yank out the damn tubes.
That's what I'm thinking too. Like, there's a limit. Like what China does, like what China, there's still, I'm pretty sure it's the same stipulation that the max is 2 kids and that's it.
Yeah, but they don't do anything. It's just a societal thing where like you're allowed to have 2 children.
But guess what? They don't have to over there, because their society and culture is totally different from ours. They are very contingent on what other people view them. Like, US and America could care less. We care less what other people think.
Right.
We're gonna do what we gonna do, right?
Yeah.
So that's why ours is gonna be a lot more strict. Like, dude, after 2 kids, we're done. Like, that's crazy, right?
Well, I kind of feel
we have to do something, because you're right. We can't have just a bunch of kids and then a lot of them go to foster care, or this, now it's left to this and that and that. No, that's not okay, or people abusing kids because they're not supposed to be a father or mother. Ken, you can attest to this, right? Like, you've felt that sting of like being labeled something that you're not,
Exactly. Yeah.
right.
And it's not, I think that we have to get to a point in our society, and I know there's the pro-life and there's the pro-choice and there's all this, but you know what? I'm sorry. If a woman comes and says, I'm pregnant and I don't want it, I'd rather you abort the baby than bring it into a horrible situation. Or
I don't agree with that.
Or adoption.
There's
Those are 2 options.
100%. There are
adoption should be first.
I agree there.
Adoption
there are options, but how many children are in foster care and they're there for years? And
you're right too.
And years.
And that's a shame.
And they get stuck in that system.
Yeah.
That's the one reason why I acted so quickly to adopt when I did, is because she was going to go in the system, and I refused to let that happen. So, but people get stuck in that cycle, and once you're in that cycle, you're in that cycle.
That's true.
They don't get out of it.
That makes a lot of sense too.
But it's also, it's and I so wish I could just clone myself and give everybody my brain and let them think the way I do, because that's one of the reasons why I don't want more children at this point. I'm not ready to take care of more than 1 child. I'm not ready to support more than 1 child.
I wish you would have that. I wish most people would have that. But the problem is people are so selfish, and people are so, it's all about them. And I want this kid to be my blood. I want this kid to be my, that's so selfish.
Right.
Having a child is not about you, if you haven't figured that out yet. It's about raising the next generation of people that are going to be givers and not takers of the system, right? So
Exactly.
don't even get me on my soapbox. I'm really, really passionate about raising kids correctly.
Yeah,
And
I'm
like I have
that.
a problem with
Really Mhm. I can't
being a
stand
teacher. You can't help but see all the crazy, right?
Yeah, all the crazy
So
happens. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well,
Crazy.
yeah, we're about done at this point.
yeah, we're done.
We're over the
talked
limit,
about
actually.
whatever.
We're over the
We're
limit.
over the limit. Oh,
We're actually over it. But we got really good on the topic, and I didn't want to stop. But anyways,
Exactly.
thank you,
Next
everybody.
week, we're gonna be drunk
week,
as shit, so God knows whatever.
You join us, everybody. So thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm Black and Rowdy, and
I'm
then
Silly Double D.
wait a minute. No, you're not.
I make my own decisions. What I say.
All right, and then this is.
Who knows?
Who knows? Whatever comes to mind.
There we go.
Whatever comes to mind, right? Whatever comes to his mind.
I
Thank
answer to
you.
whatever I'm called.
Thank you all for coming and
Good night,
joining
everybody.
us.
I
Good
gotta
night,
call my
everybody.
sister.
Bye.
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 Oh my goodness.
Alrighty.